Hi, welcome to Building with Blue. I have a funky setup today because I broke my tripod. I also forgot to bring it with me. But what I'm working on today is the um, headlight bezels for the 68 cab that I'm putting on the F550 frame. I forgot to say, if you if you're new here, I hope you find value. If you're returning, thanks for your support. So I'm working on a 1968 Frankenstein build. It's a 2000 F550 four-wheel drive frame with a 68 cab, F600 cab, which has the bigger fenders and a different grille. And these are the headlight bezels for that. Um, it's from 1968. It was a work truck, so it has a few dents, but overall not too bad. And the condition of the metal is really good. If this was in the Northeast, these probably wouldn't even exist. They'd probably be rusted right away. But these are in really good shape. They have a little bit of surface rust on the back, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to scuff that off, just this little bit of surface rust, and I'm going to paint it with Pour 15, black Pour 15, and then the faces are going to be painted with white Pour 15. Pour 15 makes a spray paint that is really pretty nice. I used it on the wheels already for the build, and I'm going to use it on these and the grill. So the grill and the headlight bezels will be white, and the truck body, the cab and the fenders, the hood, they will be blue. And then the camper will be a combination of blue and white and aluminum tone. So because it was a work truck, it's got a few little dents and stuff. I'm going to attempt to take these dents out. Now, what I've done is I've made up a pad of dense foam, and that's to give the metal somewhere to go when I'm tapping on it. If you try and tap on it on a hard surface, you have the risk of compressing the metal, which will make it stretch out and do funny things. So I'm hoping that this will help me to get the dent out without doing that. And then I've made some tools out of hardwood. These hardwood tools are really basic, just scraps of hardwood that I got from the cabinet shop. This one I ground this profile on it, and it's fairly wide, so I can get in some of these tighter spots. And then this one's offset because of the way this is shaped. I might need an offset one. And then this one is a point. When you're trying to move metal, there's a hierarchy of tools. Steel is your most aggressive. So if I had a steel punch and I was hitting the steel, that would be a very aggressive move or a mover of the steel. I want to try and be fairly conservative. So hardwood's kind of in the middle. Some plastics would be in the middle. Also, aluminum would be in the middle. Wood's about the lightest thing that you want to try to manipulate steel with. One nice thing about using wood, the little defects aren't going to make any difference because the steel is so much stronger than the wood. The defects, like this is super smooth, but it won't transmit through the steel because the steel is stronger than the wood. If this was steel, it might transfer through, and then you'd have issues with dents out instead of in, and you'd have to manipulate it. So yeah, what I'm going to try to do here is support the other end of this headlight bezel so that it's sitting kind of level. I can't do that with my hammer. Let me see. I've got something else in here. I'll use my drill. So I just want it to be at the same height, kind of. I don't want it to be tipping down. Then I'm going to take my hammer, and then what I'm going to do is inside here, where the dent is pushed in, I'm going to try and push it out. Should go fairly easy. We'll see. So you just start off with light taps and see how it does, and then you can always get more aggressive. Try not to hit your hand. So far, it's working out pretty much the way I wanted it to. You can see the dents already starting to come out, so I'm going to keep working it now. If I get it in the frame, it helps. I'm going to keep working it, and should come out pretty easy. I'm going to try my other tools. You can tell I'm getting more aggressive now, and that I'm not a newbie at it. I have a better idea how the metal's moving. That's coming out. Still got a ways to go. I might actually have to make some steel tools. We'll see if we can get it with these wood tools. That's a lot better than it was. You can see there's a little more right here. So I'm going to concentrate there. Here's pushed out almost where I want it to be. So, yeah, work on that other side here. That's coming nice, coming along nice. Key with getting deformations, dents, that kind of thing out of metal is you want to know how hard to hit it and where to hit it. You don't want to just hit it anywhere. You want to hit it where it needs to move, and don't hit it where it doesn't need to move. That's why I shaped the tools the way I did, so it concentrates the pressure where I want it. And when you do that, then you can move the metal fairly predictably and fairly easily. So I'm just going to continue doing that, and yeah, when I'm done, then the nice thing about these headlight bezels is them being the old school OEM, which is original equipment manufacturer, or from the manufacturer Ford. Back in the day, back in 1968, they made things out of real steel. So this is a fairly heavy gauge steel. And so if I get it nice and close, then I can sand it down a little bit and get rid of any minor imperfections. So I've been at this for a little while, and it's just a process of finding the spots that need to be moved and moving them gently. And the closer you get to where you want to be, the more gentle you need to be. And if you hit too hard and you actually create a bump out, let's say, because you're trying to push a dent from the back to the front, then you're going to have to tap that dent or that you created back down. So it's just a process of doing that. And if you take your time, it's not too bad. Your fingers are very sensitive. Everybody's fingers are very sensitive to changes in elevation and changes in texture. So I have this now really close. I'm pretty happy with that. That's almost completely out. You can see where the paint is here. Those are low spots. Those are evidence of low spots, which is okay, not terrible. And then you can see I've sanded it two different ways, and it shows up these areas that are a little bit low because the sandpaper doesn't hit going one direction as it does the other direction. They make something called glaze, and it's a type of Bondo that's very lightweight. I'm going to use some of that to just touch up this area. I don't like using Bondo, but I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. It's not going to be a show truck. I just want it to look nice, and I don't want to have obvious dents in it. Um, if I had put Bondo in it before, it wouldn't have looked right because the metal was so out of shape from the body line that it would have looked bad. So now I can put just a touch of glaze on here and sand it down, and that'll get rid of the low spots and make it all even, and then I can paint it and it'll look nice. So I'm pretty happy with it. I hope that helped anybody out there who wants to try it themselves. If you don't want to try it on something important, just try it on a piece of sheet metal. Take a piece of sheet metal and hit it with a hammer. When I was in the Navy, they taught me how to do sheet metal. And one of the tasks that we had to do was make a wing section. And then once the wing section was done, all riveted together and everything, they took a big file and they punched a hole in it and made a big hole. And then you had to repair the hole. So that's something that is actually done in real life scenarios. So you can take a piece of sheet metal, you can hit it with a hammer, and then try to take the dent out and see what it takes to get the dent out. That way, it's nothing important. It's something you can work on and put aside. It's not like you have a daily driver that you're trying to work on as you're taking the dents out of it. So that's actually very helpful if you want to practice. And you can try different things. You can try like this is a polymer hammer, a plastic hammer, and these are very hard plastic, but they still give a little bit when you hit the steel. Steel's going to act different, or aluminum is going to act different when you hit it with a steel hammer. It's going to act different when you hit it with wood punches or wood forming tools versus metal forming tools. So if you make dents yourself and work with these different things, you can get an idea of how they all work and what the different shapes do and how hard to hit it, and more what not to do than anything. But that's part of learning. You just learn what not to do, and then you learn what to do and try to do what to do and less of what not to do. So I have one more of these. It is right here. Uh, same same kind of thing. Got a little bit of rust on the back, nothing major. This one has a couple dents. It's got one here that's actually very small. And then it has this one here, which is very similar to the one I just took out. This one might be a little bit deeper, a little bit more involved, but I'll work on a little bit at a time and get it out to the point, same as this one, and then I'll use a little glaze to finish it off. I hope that helped out, and appreciate you being here. And if you have any questions, leave me a message, and I'll get back to you. And I hope to see you on the next one.